Hi, in the last video, the Culvert, which I showed my whole painting process of this painting from start to finish, I had someone ask me a question which I thought was a really good question, and I wanted to address that question in this short video. So let me read the question to you. Just curious, the highest chroma and the darkest dark are the sign and as it appears in the video. Is this true? And is this your intended focal point? And it's a good question because the focal point in this piece is so untraditional. I mean, it's not in what we would consider the normal place to put a focal point. So let me address this particular painting and the composition and why I did it the way I did. Typically, an artist will use the golden mean, and the simplest way that artists use the golden mean is they'll divide their canvas into thirds, vertically and horizontally. And where those 4 points meet, where they intersect there, and probably be about there, maybe down in here and up in here, those are the traditionally 4 good places to place the focal point. However, you can see in this painting, very untraditional, I put the focal point down in the right-hand corner. So how am I able to make this work? And so some really good points that will always help you when you're trying to establish a focal point. There are some things that are always important. You will find the hardest edge, in other words, the highest contrast. The hardest edge, and then also the highest contrast. Here you can see that with the color here, very high contrast, but also the most intense color, most detail, and also the most texture, and then compositional lines throughout the piece that will guide your eye to a focal point. And one can choose any place in this particular painting, for example, as the focal point. I could have just as easily made this the focal point. I would still have to use the principles that I just mentioned. If I made the focal point back here, it would have to be hardest edge, highest contrast, most texture, most detail, and most intense color. And then the compositional lines that would lead the eye to that point. In that case, I would have to subdue this part, in other words, not make it as detailed or as hard, cut this back a little bit and make this more intense and important. The reason this particular painting works is if you compare it with the original photograph, which was my photographic reference for this piece, the whole painting, the whole photograph was very intense color. All these were very brightly lit, fall colored trees, all of it was screaming for importance. So I solved that problem by creating a total different mood. I subdued everything in the background to force the eye down to this point. Then I used all the principles we just spoke of in order to focus the eye down here. Also, this is a very concentrated area here and a very small part of the painting, but it needed to be balanced with all this open, airy piece back here. Just the sheer size and weight of this balances out this little short area, this small area right here. So I hope those principles are helpful to you in showing you how one can achieve focal point. Just remember the important message here is you as the artist can create focal point anywhere you want it in a painting. It doesn't have to be in these traditional 4 golden mean points. It can be anywhere in the painting. And I found this challenging because I put it in a very untraditional spot down in the bottom right, and yet I believe the painting still works. So I hope this information is helpful to you, and I just wanted to create this short, brief explanation of the composition and how I thought about it, and I hope it helps you. Thank you.